So the South Korean government has been working on some subsidies, and they have been executing some financial plans for video game companies that have really been working out in terms of helping them. Now, when you think of South Korea, there, maybe isn't a video game that comes to mind. It's not like Japan where we can say, oh, everything from Nintendo or PlayStation, or the US where we can say, oh, everything from Microsoft or something. I mean, with South Korea, don't get it twisted. They are definitely a rising video game industry, but already they are actually quite established. You ever heard of PUBG? Yeah, believe it or not, I always forget this. That game is actually from a South Korean company, and there is another very big, actually a lot newer of a game that is from a South Korean game company. It was developed and published by them, and that is Lies of P. Everybody has heard of this. This came out a couple years ago, and it dominated. It is a very strong game, very highly reviewed, and it's by this company right here, Neowiz. They've been around for about, almost 30 years now, and the thing is, the CEO of that company has actually just come out and talked about how the South Korean government, they are actually helping these gaming companies, even like smaller gaming companies, indie gaming companies. The government's kind of subsidizing a lot of these video game companies, probably because they see a lot of value in them in terms of growth, economic expansion, that kind of thing. Now, I've got everything linked in the description, but this all comes from this article by Knowledge Today, December 12th. Specifically, this section right here, where they release a little bit from an interview that they had with the co-CEO Sean Kim. Again, this is the company behind Lies of P. So it says, with its shift to premium PC and console titles, Neowiz set itself apart from what typically dominates the Korean ecosystem, which are mobile and MMORPG type games, live service games, that kind of thing. However, Sean Kim notes a rise of indie studios in the region, and he says the government is helping to grow a lot of indie developers. He says there are a lot of indie studios coming up, especially from young, talented developers within Korea, and a lot of mid-sized and big Korean publishers are also looking into the indie scene while also pivoting to the PC and console space gradually, because when it comes to the mobile gaming market, it is being saturated. So it sounds like a lot of the good that's coming from this, from what he's saying, is that with these government subsidies, they're kind of digging up these young and very talented developers who may not have paid attention to the game industry or thought of that as a career beforehand. He says the funding has become a lot more conservative compared to past years, especially from the venture capitals. It is really hard to raise funding if this isn't a very big, ambitious project. So this is very good if you are a video game developer in South Korea, and just seeing this from the outside, I think this is going to help a lot of game companies and just a lot of games grow that are from South Korea. We can really see South Korea, potentially dominate in a lot of areas of the video game ecosystem as we go forward. And just because I was curious as well, I did look into what some of these subsidies have been recently. There was one recently from the South Korean Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, where they allocated over $50 million in subsidies for video game companies. That is huge. And then there was also another one starting this year. They invested $12 million just in console game support, which it looks like about doubles the previous budgets. So yes, overall it looks like South Korea is definitely taking the video game industry very seriously, probably because the economic assets, the benefits from this are very, very good.